Alright guys, welcome back. I'm showing you the first commander deck that I've ever built. I know on my first one of my first videos I said I wasn't sure about this commander thing. Now I really understand the concept, how it's real strategic, trying to place all the cards where they kind of work together. So here's the commander that I chose. I found it super interesting, and the deck is super fun. I've kept modifying it. I'm actually waiting on an important card, which I'll easily swap out. Two cards, Kiki Jiki, which steals creatures by tapping it, and they are unaffected by summoning sickness, steals opponent's creatures. And then also a Goblin Bombardment, so I have another avenue of sacrificing stuff that I steal from opponents. So the concept of the deck is stealing your opponent's creatures and throwing them at them. There's other ways too that I have of winning, because you see he has Lifelink, Brion Stoutarm. This isn't even a very expensive card. I mean, like value-wise, but boy, it's a very fun deck. I mean, I'd rather have a fun deck than a super boring deck full of like super expensive cards, in my opinion. As long as the deck works good, though. All right, so here's the main base of it, and then I have this Planeswalker. So I ordered a lot of these cards, and half these cards I ordered I ended up not even using. This is my first time doing this, but this guy's really good. You gain life equal to the number of creatures you control plus the number of planeswalkers you control. So he's my only planeswalker, but it's more of because of the bottom ability, so you could get rid of everything. As long as I have 15 life more than my starting point, and you gain a lot of life with this deck. So this is kind of a great, they go hand in hand. And then once you're 15 life above, you destroy you exile this guy and all your opponent's artifact and creatures. So that's pretty cool. Okay, I guess I'll go through now some of the other creatures that I have with it. Or actually, here, let's do the land base. Planeswalker here. So land base, it only has one like special land to make a target creature unblockable. In case I get out a real big boy and I'm able to just, make it unblockable, swing with it, maybe because I didn't want to sack it yet, to deal that extra damage and gain life. And then I have, I want to say like 16, I have like a total of 40 lands. So we're not short on mana here. I might be able to swap out a land for something else. And then always looking at the converted mana cost. We don't want like all this stuff to cost too much. But so I'll just kind of go through these. I won't name them all, but there's, obviously it's a white and red. And then the rest are just plains and mountains. Total of 40 lands. Okay. And now we will get into, okay, so here's the cool cards. These are mostly all sorceries, but what these do, these will all steal your opponent's creature. So once I have my commander out, it's just a combo. You taking their creature, so I tried to keep ones. They have other ones that cost like 4. I might do a little something else, like give the creature menace, but I'm trying to keep it cheaper, so I made all these 3. So gain control of target opponent's creature, get a +1/+1 counter on this one. They all say it gains haste till end of turn. Take for a ride. Oh, you committed a crime. Oh, it has flash, so you can actually play this as flash if you did something to anything your opponent controls, which is counted as committing the crime. Same thing again here, but this one's really cool because I have a lot of equipments in here in this deck, so this is a bonus. Gain control of target creature until end of turn. Untap the creature. If you gain haste until end of turn, you may attach an equipment to the creature. If you do, unattach it at the beginning of your next end step. But yeah, I'll get into the equipments. I also have some combos that go at Brion Stoutarm, and then this same thing, and it lets me actually cast a spell. Cast a card, so it's anything but mana cost 2 or less, which is kind of limiting, but I do have some things that are 2 or less, so it could speed up the deck. This is the same thing, but you could do it in multiple times all at once. So I did that on one commander game, and I was able to pay 6. I stole 2 different opponents' creatures. See, I'm really missing the Goblin Bombardment. It's in the mail, though, so it should be here soon, and then I got to swap that out. Other than that, this deck's pretty complete. Same thing, gaining control of their creature. This one lets you, when the creature deals combat damage, if it does, I'll get a treasure token, so that's a bonus. So I tried to find the best ones I could. There we go. So I have like 8 of those. Yep, There's 8 of those sorceries. Might seem excessive, but it is handy having them. And then we'll go into the other creatures. Alright, so right here is Layla the Blade Reforged. Has haste. When Layla the Blade Reforged attacks, exile the top card of your library. You may play that card this turn. And then it's a built-in combo. Whenever one or more cards are put into exile from your library and or graveyard, put a +1/+1 counter. Okay, so each effect that's causing that to happen, I guess you would just get the +1/+1 one time, even if something has you exile 5 cards at once. I'm pretty sure. It's still good. You can pump it up. It's 3 casting costs. This is a really powerful card too. Has reach, which is wonderful. Cost 4. At the beginning of combat on your turn, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control. It gains lifelink until end of turn. So you're stealing their creature. Then you go into combat because you might want to swing at it to see what they decide. And if it's not, the creature's not going to take lethal damage from combat. And if it's going to, you fast effect sack it to Brion. That way the opponent still loses the creature that was originally theirs, and they're taking damage, and you're gaining life. So remember, every time you're sacking it, you're gaining life. So this right here is a handy one to have. Oh, and it also gives that creature lifelink to end of turn. So what we're trying to also do, it'd be nice to be able to get first strike. That way you're not choosing to sack it to Brion or have it deal the damage in combat. This one's great. This goes hand in hand too. So you could tap Brion of Clan Stoutarm. It's like in the same clan as Brion. This came out later in a different set, but another target creature you control gains flying and lifelink, because we're trying to gain life, and you'll see all the other things coming about that. At the beginning of your end step, if you gain life this turn, exile cards from the top of your library until you exile a non-land card. So you're exiling cards, comboing back on that first guy I showed you. I can't even find it. Anyways, that first creature I showed you that costs 3. And then it says you may cast that card without paying its mana cost, as long as you gained as much life as a converted mana cost or less. So that's really handy, and it's a hand-in-hand combo. This guy comes out into play, does the same thing as these sorceries. You'll steal your opponent's creature. Really cool. This guy has haste too. This is where the casting costs are getting a little high, which I don't like. This guy does the same thing. He's in steal creature, but then that creature that is stolen, you get a copy of it attacking each other player. So it's super handy because it gains Myriad. All these new abilities I'm trying to keep up with, but basically, and then all those die at the end of, all those token copies die at the end of the turn. That's why Goblin Bombardment, because Brion, you have to tap him to sack. You can't just sack multiple creatures to him. And then we have right here, when he attacks, attach up to 1 target equipment you control to target attacking creature, which is sweet because I have a few equipments that kind of, or one that costs a lot to attach it. Iris God of Victory, very good. Creatures you control can't be blocked except by 2 or more creatures. That's what we want to make it harder when you're attacking them with their own creatures. Prevent all damage that would be dealt to attacking creatures you control, and you will be controlling their creature at that point. When you're using any of these other little things, you're now in control of that creature. So, yeah. You'd prevent all the combat damage, so you swing with it, then sack it. Whoops, and then right here we have an older card, Sarah Avatar, really wonderful. Power and toughness each equal to your life total, so if you have like 30 life, whatever, you sack it to Brion, and they take 30, and you gain 30. It's a high casting cost, though. That's what's, you got to look at these things, not just like, oh, all these things are great combos, and have all these things that you can't play, and have a handful of nonsense that's worthless. But I do have a couple high casting, high hitters. See, this is nice and low casting costs, and it makes all my, I only have 1 aura, and equipment spells you cast cost 1 less to cast. Beautiful, okay? And this itself has First Strike, Vigilance, Lifelink. And then this guy, Michiko Kanda, Truth Seeker. Whenever a source an opponent controls deals damage to you, that player sacrifices a permanent. Fun for them. This is a great card. I had to special order a lot of these as I was watching so many videos, and there's just so many different cards I want, but you can't fit them all in the deck. You got to be selective, okay? And this is the same thing. This steals a creature, but when this is out, then if you cast another pirate, it steals a creature too when that pirate's cast from your opponent. Very good. Lifelink right here. This Rhino, 1/5. He's a 1/5, casting cost of 4. If you would gain life, you gain twice that much life instead. Beautiful. And then here's another pirate. So if you had that one out and then you cast this, whenever this guy attacks, you get a little legendary creature that pops out into play, but you have to sack it at end of turn. So just if you're doing that and then sacking that little creature just until you're waiting on other cards. And then this guy's great. Feldon of the Third Path. You see how I have a lot of lower casting costs creatures. Create a tokenless copy of target creature card in your graveyard. So if you sacked one of your own creatures, it won't work with Share Avatar because unfortunately that's reshuffled into your library. But that is okay. Yeah, that guy's really good. You know what? I'm probably going to add in here a Ball Lightning. It would be a combo with him. I mean, you have to draw both cards, but you could just keep bringing back that Ball Lightning and sacking it to Brion Stoutarm. I'll decide if I think that's worth it. It might not be. This is great to have, a low casting cost. This is just some protection, you know, kind of early mid-game. Destroy target creature at power 4 or greater. When they start pumping out big things and you're not keeping up, you're waiting on certain cards. It's handy to have. Again, low casting cost. Another one, low casting cost. I call everything 3 or less a low casting cost. First strike, trample, lifelink. We like having this lifelink. Whenever lightning deals damage to a player until your next turn, if a source would deal damage to that player or a permanent that player controls, it deals double that damage. So now we're doubling up. As long as this guy deals combat damage, which we have to be to get that through, which one of our lands allows that. But I mean, we can't just try to base it all on waiting on that one land, but I thought I had that land. It makes the creature unblockable. Okay, I might have moved it somewhere. That's weird, but... Okay, sorry there. Found it right there. So we can make a big creature unblockable. So this is a great land to have and works out in many decks. Rogue's Passage. Also used just as colorless mono, so it's not really slowing you down. It does have a 4 to activate. All right. So we have her... Now we're going, this is some great early defense. And watch how good this is. Crystal Barricade, Defender. So it's just a wall, but you have hexproof. You can't beat a target of spells or ability your opponent controls. Wow. For 2 mana, and then prevent all non-combat damage that would be dealt to other creatures you control. So if they're trying to wipe out your creatures, here, now we have a little defense on that. Very nice, especially for how cheap it is. This has a built-in still creature. And again, it's another pirate. Captivating Crew. Very good card with Brion. This too, kind of a high casting cost. I told you I don't have many, but it's well worth it. So this has lifelink. You're gaining life if this swings at your opponent. Look what you can do. Exchange your life total with Evra Halicon Witness's power, which is right there. Which could be risky if they had an instant fast effect, because you're going to change your life momentarily to 4, but say like you have 30 life. So like you have 40 life. You get this out. You change your life total the turn after you cast it. You're not going to be doing this all in one turn. And then sack it with Brion. Or if you're able to swing and make it unblockable and then sack it with Brion. But imagine that. Now there you get all your life back. You're 40 and they take 40. Pretty sweet. So I really like that. It's kind of like the Sarah Avatar, even cheaper. Another cheap one that's really good. Low casting costs. Beginning of combat on your turn, target creature gains your choice of first strike, vigilance till end of turn. If that creature is equipped, gains first strike and vigilance till end of turn. Look at this. Equipped abilities you activate cost 1 less to activate. And we're going to get right into the equipments here next. And a darker Valkyrie. All right, another kind of high casting cost. I call it high casting cost for sure when it reaches like the 6. But flying vigilance, look at this. Tap When target creature other than a Darker Valkyrie dies this turn, return that card to the battlefield under your control. So it could even be your opponent's creature. So if something is not... So I'll steal their creature, target that creature, sack it with Brion, and then it comes back into play under my control. That's very powerful. And it's just tap. That's all you got to do. This is really good after you're gaining life. High casting cost, but we'll avoid that because we're going to gain life. This spell costs X less to cast, where X is the total amount of non-combat. This is non-combat damage when you're sacking creatures to Brion. So it becomes less. You gain 5 life. It's costing you get it down to a 1 casting cost for a 6/6 with trample. And then when this is out, when a source you control deals non-combat damage to an opponent, Chandra's Incinerator deals that much damage to target creature or planeswalkers. So you can start wiping off more of their creatures if they're starting to become overwhelming. Very sweet. Now we're going to go into... I have a lot of equipments in this deck. Grafted Exoskeleton. This is very good. It's a mid-range cast, but it's cheap to equip. And imagine when you lower that equip cost, it's going to be just costing 1 if you get that one girl out. Equip creature gets +2/+2 and has infect. Now the reason I have this, let's just kill them with like 2 little swings with Brion. This is another alternative if you draw this. When this becomes unattached from a permanent, sack that permanent. That's fine, but we would put this on Brion. And hopefully it just stays on him. So now whenever he deals that damage, there's poison counters. 10 of them. Your opponents are dead. Start wiping them one by one. Of course, they're going to be targeting Brion at that point. But so I have this. This is very good. And then I have little boosters just so we have it out. Imagine if you get that casting or the equip cost down to the 1. It's real easy to just put it on every creature you're stealing from them to totally pump it +4 and then throw it at them. It's kind of the ideal here. And then this one, very cheap and cheap also. This one kind of has, it has a base thing here. You gotta, if it has to be on a creature that's 3 or greater with its power. But mid-game, you're going to be stealing creatures that are bigger anyways, and you could do other things with it. It's cheap enough where I decided to put that in. This right here, beautiful. You steal their creature, equip creature gets +1/-1. Throw it at them, draw 2 cards. Equip 1. Imagine if you bring that down to 0. You just plop this on every creature you're stealing just for card draw. Wonderful. So that's a Skull Clamp. And then we have Basilisk Collar. Equip creature has Death Touch and Lifelink. I might just put it on one of my creatures, depending what's going on the board, just for some intimidation. It's real cheap. You get this out early. Oops, I bumped my gimbal. All right. This one is a crux to this deck, because this costs equip 0. 3 to get it out, 0 to cast, put it on a creature. Wonderful. Steal their creature, put this on for free. That equipped creature is getting +3/+2. Swing it at them, and then, or if I don't have Brion out yet, you can steal their creature, attack them with their own creature, then equip this to something else or unequip it. Oh, attach target creature you control. Okay, so I'd have to equip it to something else, and when it's removed from theirs, their creature dies. Really sweet. All right, this one costs a lot. That's why we want to get those costs down with those creatures if possible. Equip creature has base power and toughness XX, where X is your life total. It's like a built-in, like Sarah Avatar built into this equipment here. Very sweet. This is the Aetur and Prywin. I don't know if I said that right, but powerful card for this deck. Because you could just keep plopping it on each one that you're swinging at them. Take out an opponent one at a time. This I want to put on Brion when it comes out. Gift of Immortality, enchant creature. When enchant creature dies, return that card to the battlefield under its owner control. Return Gift of Immortality to battlefield attached to that creature at the beginning of next end step. So every time Brion's dying, I'm going to let him go to the graveyard, not the command zone, and then he just comes right back instantly with this back on him at the end of the turn. So they'll have fun getting rid of him. Bone Splitter, just pretty simple. Easy, cheap equip. Right here's a good one, Sun Forger. So equip creature gets +4/+0. Equip cost is 3, but it's fast effect. I can unattach Sunforger, search my library for red or white instant card with converted mana cost 4 or less, cast a card without paying its casting cost, shuffle my library. You could do a lot with this. All right, so now we need, I'll show you guys some of this. Some of the security cards or some defense mechanisms we have. So we have Shatter Sky. If things get rough, each player who controls a creature with power 4 or greater draws a card. So if I have Brion out, I'll get to draw a card, then destroy all creatures. It's a board wipe when things are becoming overwhelming, because you're only stealing like one creature per turn. I mean, I've had to use this before, but it works very well, especially if that enchantment, if this is on Brion, I'll get him right back, even after doing this. So that's really cool. Wrath of God, bury all creatures, and it really says and they cannot be regenerated. Just not on this version, but that's what it does. So I have 2 of those board wipes that for 4 mana. Have this an instant here, destroy target tap creature, destroy any number of target tap creatures with different controllers. So if each opponent, you're playing a 4-player game, they all attack, previous turn, they can all lose 1. So you're paying that casting cost plus 1 to do that, or this casting cost plus that. Destroy all tap creatures, again, if it's just overwhelming and it's a good opportunity. And now once you're getting rid of all the board, if I have, let's go to this right here, continue, which works. If I have 6 mana, Wrath of God, and then get my creatures back. Choose up to 4 target creature cards in your graveyard that were put there from the battlefield this turn. Return them to the battlefield. Beautiful card right here. You get this from the Turtles. I bought the Precon just to pull out a bunch of cards that are wonderful for decks. I broke apart the Precon instantly, never even used it. Here's another good one. This is a common from there. Destroy target artifact, enchantment, or creature with power 4 or greater. You want some of these cards in your deck. We need some protection for crazy things they put out. We need to be able to destroy these strong enchantments and artifacts. Here's another one. This is a wonderful card. Stroke of Midnight. Cost 3. It's an instant. Destroy target non-land permanent. Its controller creates a 1/1 white human creature token. Let them have that 1/1, and it lets us wipe anything but a land. That is beautiful. Most white decks should have this. And then we have the basic Disenchant. Destroy target artifact or enchantment. Wonderful. And now I'll show you we have some more mana pumps to help us through. Soul Ring. This is a staple to most, it should be in almost all commander decks, in my opinion. Then we got Talisman of Conviction. So it's for our colors. There's this, Arcane Signet. Add 1 mana of any color into commander's color identity. And then Curse Mirror. This is great to have. Enters the battlefield, you may have it become a copy of any creature on the battlefield until end of turn, except it has haste. So if they have a big boy out and you have this in your hand, turn it into that. Sack it to Brion. I don't care. I'll get rid of this if they're taking 7 damage or something. Last but not least, now we have some of our own artifacts and enchantments. This is great. Right here's what we wanted, to untap Brion to use him again, or use this as mana ability. See that? Untap target legendary creature you control. And a lot of creatures in this deck are legends. This is a powerful card. Then we have Phyrexian Processor. This right here also, when this comes out, yeah, it has a 4 casting cost, but still, it's well worth it. When this comes out, you want to pay at least 10 life, I would say. I mean, it could be kind of risky, but you're going to get it all back, so it really isn't. Pay 15 life, and then you're pumping out 15 creatures for 4, sack each one to Brion, and you get all your life back on the first sack. So, ballsy, go ahead, 20 life. You're pumping out 20/20s. Phyrexian Processor, a must-have for this deck. Mimic Vat. This is great, too. This gets kind of in the combo fanatics with this. Whenever a non-token creature is put into a graveyard from the battlefield, you may exile that card. That's even their creatures. So when I'm sacking one using Brion, I could choose that one. So it's one at a time, and that card's exiled, and this literally puts a token onto the battlefield that's a copy of the exiled card. It gains haste. And it's every turn you're doing it. Now you're just pumping out whatever big guy that you just copied. This is wonderful, and it's really cheap too. Fair price for all of it, even its ability. And then Dawn of Hope. Whenever you gain life, you may pay 2. If you do, draw a card. We need to be able to draw cards with this. I'm not worried about creating those. I'm not going to be doing that. That costs 4. No, but I'm going to be doing this. Whenever you gain life, you may pay 2. If you do, draw a card. You know, it doesn't say you can only do that once, so I think you could do that multiple times. You just have to do it all at once? I don't know. I'll get back to that. Test of Endurance. Things are getting wild, but you have a lot of life. At the beginning of your upkeep, if you have 50 or more life, you win the game. See, that's another way to win right there. This was one of the first banned cards I heard in Commander. But it's legal. High Noon. I played this on a Commander game. I've only played about 5 Commander games since I started playing Magic again about 3 months ago. Each player can't cast more than 1 spell each turn. Wow, this messed up a guy's whole day. When I played this on like 3rd turn, it was in my beginning hand. And then if I want to get rid of it because it's bothering me, I'll just pay that. It's kind of high, but now someone's taking 5 damage. Last but not least, Artist Talent. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, you may discard a card. If you do, draw a card. Okay, I mean, it sucks because you're not really gaining a card. You're getting rid of one too, but then when it's on the second tier, non-creature spells you cast cost 1 less to cast, and there's a lot of that makes all these steel creatures only cost 2. If a source you control will deal non-combat damage, Brion does that to an opponent, or a permanent opponent controls, it deals that much damage plus 2 instead, and it's very cheap. And then you just slowly get it into its last tier, and you're good. All right, guys. So let me know what you think about my first Commander deck ever. Hope you guys have a blessed day, and that was helpful.